For over 15 years, Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated has been a beacon of light, guiding local families through difficult times. Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated proudly provides all families with compassionate choices for professional funeral care at reasonable prices. Get the answers you need 24 hours a day. No answering services, hidden costs, add-on fees, confusing fine print, or those scary-looking contracts. Remember, Gallup Funeral Services owns and operates the only crematory in Dare County, keeping our cremations affordable and convenient. Gallup Memorial Chapel in Bargo, North Carolina is now open and minutes from Moyock and Elizabeth City. From traditional church services and graveside burials to direct cremations and advanced planning, let Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated light the way for your family. Don't be pressured or confused by the other funeral homes. It's always your choice. Choose Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. Call Courtney at 252-216-8030 to get a plan started today and visit our new website at gallupfuneralservices.com.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
News team, assemble!
Joining us live, because if you want to know anything about the Outer Banks, Sam Walker's the dude to fill you in.
The sea was angry that day, my friends. Like an old man trying to send back soup in a deli.
Always appreciate talking to you.
Always good stuff with Sam Walker in the Outer Banks.
Now here's Les Nessman and the news.
And happy Saturday, everyone. Welcome to OBX Today Live Storm Watch. I'm Sam Walker. Glad to have you along with us on this Saturday morning here on the OBX Today Facebook page, the Sam Walker OBX Facebook page and YouTube channel. As we are doing some special coverage this morning with this coastal storm everybody's talking about. That's going to bring a variety of impacts to the state of North Carolina and the Outer Banks. Not immune, although it has solidified even more that there's not going to be any wintry weather out of this system on the beaches. It's going to be a rain and wind event with the possibility of coastal flooding. We got the latest briefing from the National Weather Service. Came out around 6:30 this morning, and we're going to start you with that and give you an idea of what they're talking about this morning as far as this storm system is concerned. The main points are we've got the possibility of coastal flooding with minor to moderate water levels of 1 to 3 feet above ground level. Minor ocean overwash is possible. That 1 to 3 feet above ground, that would be on the sound side. The minor ocean overwash, that's on the east-facing beaches from Corolla down to Buxton. Now, the wintry weather is going to stay west of Highway 17. We are going to see strong winds, though. Scatter power outages, small limbs down as well, mainly right along the coast. Strongest winds will be along the Outer Banks. Heavy rainfall possible anywhere from 2 to 3 inches in some spots. 1 to 2 inches, it kind of seems the more norm for what we're going to get rainfall, but we could see some higher amounts in a few locations Sunday and Sunday night. And the marine conditions are going to get rather sloppy as we get into the day tomorrow. So we have an elevated coastal flood risk. Everything else is kind of limited except for the marine impacts, which are extreme. This is just kind of a generic map, if you will, what they're thinking as far as the possibility of coastal flooding. We could see sound side water level rises to 1 to 3 feet, not only along the west side of the Outer Banks on the sound side. We could see down south, we'll talk about that in a minute, but here on the northern beaches, and as we get around towards Buxton, we've got the possibility of some minor ocean overwash at high tide. Lesser chance of that on the south-facing beaches, although that seems like we may get some more because we're going to see more of a southeast and east wind out of this. A southeast wind would really cause that problem. And we're going to get some southwest wind later on as the storm passes to the north that might cause some issues. This is farther down south. You can see along the Pamlico River and into the Tar River that there's a possibility of 1 to 3 feet. So Swan Quarter over to Belhaven and Washington and down to Aurora, there's some possibilities there of some sound side flooding. not, I need to check and see if Wakefield has a briefing out now, because that wasn't out earlier. And the reason I bring that up is this brings up an interesting something that we don't want to leave out, is where we're talking about interior sound side areas. So, looking at this map, you got the Pamlico River up here, you got the Neuse River down here. We need to be looking also at the possibility of some water coming up in Columbia, along the Scuppernong River, also along the Alligator River, possibility of water being up there because of the easterly component we're going to see with these winds. And I do not see a briefing out right now from Wakefield, which is a little surprising, unless I'm not looking in the right spot on their website. They and also at the same time, we are still, sometimes they will wait on those because of the timing on when the weather is supposed to arrive in the forecast office. But they have been putting out the graphics and such. But I am not seeing, let's see here. I do have a link. I was trying to remember if I have a link to it in my bookmarks, because I really want to see if they have made any mention for the possibility of some sound side flooding up the Albemarle Sound. They handle the Albemarle Sound, whereas Newport Morehead City handles the Pamlico. And because of that, that's where we get these split maps. I've had people ask me about that before, where they're like, why don't you have Corolla? Why don't you have the mainland? And a lot of it has to do with the fact that we deal with two different, weather offices. And when that happens, we have to kind of split things up, figure out what's the best graphics to use with our stories. But we do try to get at least some of the social media interactions in there as well. So I'm not seeing a briefing from Wakefield right now, which is a little disappointing. Let me see if maybe they have put it in their weather chat. No, I don't see that in there either. Shout out to Morehead City. Usually they will try to put that in there. Let's see. Nope. There is not a briefing out. So we're going to have to do a little different way of figuring out whether or not we do need to have our eyes on the possibility of some sound side flooding on the Albemarle Sound when this thing starts. Now, I've kind of focused on that and apologize because I was a little surprised that we hadn't seen anything on that because I want to go back and I'll tell you what, I'll move forward, then come back. We're going to come back to this sound side flooding issue because that's going to be a little different than what we normally see. Max wave heights on the ocean side. Let's move on to that. We are looking at the possibility of 12 to 15 foot seas in some spots, even 15 to 20 down south. And that's a reflection of that southeast blow that we're expecting. 5 foot waves in the center of the Pamlico, 3 foot, 2 to 3 foot, 2 foot on the Alligator River, 4 foot on the Albemarle Sound. Well, this shows that they are taking care of the Albemarle Sound. So I guess we're not going to see the flooding threat up here. Yep, that's right. We're not going to see a flooding threat as I was worried about for Columbia and the Alligator River side. It looks like that'll be okay, so don't need to worry about that. Total snowfall accumulations, less than an inch possible out west, way out west. That's not, we're talking, again, US 17 west. That's going to be the border for the weather in this system, US 17, US 13. Maybe a little bit of glaze of ice, very small glazing of ice around Greenville and Kinston. You get down to Duplin County. That's where they're going to see a better chance of ice this far east. Rain is going to be the big thing, 1.5 to 2 inches of rain possible, all on the beaches and for inland areas. Max wind gusts. We could see wind gusts popping 60 miles an hour with this system the Sunday night into early Monday, and we're going to get the wind from just about every part of the compass. Every compass point is going to be the whole compass rose is going to be involved with the winds. We do have the possibility of some severe thunderstorms along the beaches tomorrow afternoon and into the evening. So to sum it up, what we're expecting along the Outer Banks and coastal North Carolina is minor to moderate impacts adjacent to the southern Pamlico Sound, as well as the Pamlico River and Soundside Outer Banks. Minor ocean overwash is possible north of Cape Hatteras. A period of snow, sleet, and freezing rain will make travel hazardous for inland areas, especially along and west of Highway 17. Wind gusts of 30 to 40 miles an hour, gust times of 50 to 60 along the coast could result in scattered power outages. Rainfall totals 1 to 3 inches could result in localized ponding of water in low-lying areas during heavier periods of rain, and 10 to 20-foot seas, gale to storm force winds expected on the coastal waters. So there is kind of the brief summary, the briefing that was put out by the National Weather Service at Newport, Morehead City, about 6:30 this morning. All right, we do have watches and warnings now posted. I want to go to what the North Carolina Emergency Management has real quick and show you this graphic real quick, and then kind of run through what their thought process or what they're thinking for each region in the state. We have a winter weather advisory that will go into effect for Washington and Beaufort counties and points west out to the Triangle. That goes into effect at midnight tonight until 4 p.m. Sunday. A winter storm warning now in effect for the rest of North Carolina from along I-95 west and US 1 and west, really, is the corridor. But it's I-95, US 1, on out towards the mountains and into Tennessee, or at least out to the western part of North Carolina under a winter storm warning. An ice storm warning has been issued, as you can see, for the upstate of South Carolina. That's not under the winter storm warning. Rest of South Carolina is in a winter weather advisory until Sunday. And again, that's our interior counties. That's because things could start out as a mix of wintry precipitation. So if you got plans to take you on US 64 tomorrow morning, you might run into a little bit of icing in the morning as the and 264, 64, the 17 corridor, 258, 13. You get on out there towards 95. You got a mixture of wintry precipitation to start, and then it will be a rain event for the afternoon, midday and afternoon. But once you get out to the Triangle, then it's a snow and ice and just a mess, really, for this winter storm. So what is the North Carolina Emergency Management telling us this morning? They're saying they kind of have put together a summary of things. Here in eastern North Carolina, we talked about the brief period of sleet and freezing rain that could lead to slick conditions possible Sunday morning in the coastal plain. As temperatures warm, precipitation will change from freezing rain to rain from east to west during the late morning hours. Most areas east of I-95 should be above freezing by noon. Most of those areas will see about 1/10 of an inch of ice with some locally higher amounts south of I-40. Heavy rain Sunday afternoon even could lead to some localized flooding of poor drainage areas. There's some severe thunderstorms possible. Some could even spin up a brief tornado. Strongest wind gusts, again, will be on the Outer Banks tomorrow and tomorrow night. High wind watch is in effect for the Outer Banks. A wind advisory is posted for the Dare and Hyde mainlands. A coastal flood advisory and coastal flood watch have been issued, again, for the central and northern portions of the coast of North Carolina. Go out to central North Carolina. Precipitation will be moving in early tomorrow morning from southwest to northeast. Some northern locations may remain dry until around daybreak. Ice accumulations of 1/10 to 1/3 of an inch, but they could see some spots with a 1/2 inch or more. The greatest ice amounts are currently expected between I-77 and US 1, so that includes the Charlotte Metro, the Triad, and western portions of the Triangle. So scattered down trees, power outages are possible. In western North Carolina, the bulk of the precip will begin to spread into southwestern North Carolina after sunset and spread northeastward overnight, with the heaviest precipitation expected late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. Heaviest snow and sleet accumulation still expected across the mountains and foothills, with generally 6 to 10 inches possible, 8 to 12 along and near the Blue Ridge Escarpment, 12 to 20 at elevations above 4,000 feet. Yeehaw. Ice accumulations of 1 inch to 1/4 inch possible. That's mostly along near the I-77 corridor, but especially south of I-40 towards the Charlotte Metro. As far as things are concerned, up into Virginia, really just that starting out with a wintry mix from Norfolk out to Franklin and Cortland, and then on up to Williamsburg and New Kent. Once you get on the other side there, you get towards Richmond. That's where you start seeing the snowfall accumulation, looking at 2 to 3 inches along the I-95 corridor in Virginia. Out west, 4 to 6 up the US 15 corridor, and then some higher amounts out in the mountains of Virginia. Kate, and you know what? This isn't hype, ma'am. This is just giving the facts and reporting the information as we have had people ask about it. If I see that hype word, you know what? You're gone. Sorry. We'll see it. We don't need you. Take it somewhere else, but not here. Not on this page. Not going to deal with that. This isn't hype. It's giving the information so people can prepare themselves if they have travels or they're coming to the Outer Banks tomorrow, or in the case they've never been here when we've had a storm system. If I see that hype thing again from anyone on this, you're gone. I'm tired of that. Wendy, you can take it somewhere else. But we're trying to give information here that people want. If you don't like it, turn it off. It's easy. Click. Bye. We don't need you. We go through this a lot with people on social media, and this is one of the downfalls of it. But I don't need that here. We're here to give information as is provided from the National Weather Service. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. That's just how it is. All right, here is, and sorry for the little rant there, but I'm really we don't need you. We don't need you. There's 20, we've got dozens of people on here right now that are wanting the information. We don't need to hear it from you. All right, let's see what the National Weather Service is saying overall as far as this system goes. Here's just an animated map to show you, starting out with it over the deep south, picking up all that moisture coming up off the Gulf. And then as we get through the day, you know what, I want to stop this and slow it down. So this would be, let me look here, our map. This would be tonight, down off the deep south, and then making its way across Alabama into Georgia. There it is sitting. And this is explains a little bit of why we're going to stay in the rain sector. The center of this system is actually going to pass well to our west. And we're going to, that's why we're going to stay into the rain. And what that's going to do is actually give us a better shot at getting the onshore winds. We're going to get southeast winds out of this, which is very unusual, obviously, for this time of year. Very unusual for pretty much any storm system. Usually what we see with these lows is they'll come off of the coast, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, get out off the Gulf Stream and follow the Gulf Stream up, and then you get the wraparound and that off the north, and that's where we get our snowfall. System like this is going to stay inland. That's why we're getting the ice storm situation. That's why we're getting the heavier snow out farther to the west with this. This is what's setting up, is because this system, the center of circulation, is going to stay inland. And that's going to be why we're going to see the impacts we're going to see. All right, let's see. Sharon, I got to go back. Last time we got an inch or more of snow, because that's what qualifies as snow accumulation. Last year? No, we didn't get it last year. Year before, 19? Yeah. I think it's not been that long. Happens a lot more than you realize. And there are events where it's gotten more snow on the beach than we've seen inland. So, all right, I want to focus on the winds, though. Here's how things look right now, or at least that's the forecast on the GFS this morning. We start playing it out. It's a pretty decent breeze, about 10 to 15, maybe some gusts to 20 at times today. We get into the afternoon, stays out of the north. Let's see, can I zoom this down one more frame here? Yeah, we can get it down one more frame. Then we start to see things shift to the northeast overnight. And that obviously is, we've already got a little bit of angry sea out there, as you can see from this live shot behind the map. That's from South Nag or from Whalebone Junction this morning. Then we're going to start seeing things shifting more easterly. Tomorrow morning about this time, I'm going to pause it here. This is where our winds are looking to this time tomorrow morning. We're looking at almost due east and maybe a little bit of a south component to it down on Hatteras Island. Temperatures tomorrow this time expect to be in the 50s, upper 40s on the North Beaches, around the mid 50s on Hatteras and Ocracoke by this time tomorrow, according to the GFS. By tomorrow afternoon, we really start things cranks up about 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. We'll be more southeasterly on the winds, and they'll be in the 30 to 40 mile an hour range. Temperatures getting up to around 60. Let's see. Going out west, 30s. Looking at the GFS, they really don't have anybody close to us in the 30s by mid-afternoon. It's not going to last that long. Whatever wintry precipitation the inland areas get, it's not going to last all that long. All right, about tomorrow afternoon, really starting to get things ramped up winds-wise out of the southeast at 30 to 40. Maybe some gusts up to 50. We talked about those gusts to 60 possible. But we're going to be looking at a southeast wind by sunset tomorrow night. Stays southeast right on through tomorrow evening. Then the center of the circulation passes off to our northwest. And that's when we'll see a shift to the southwest. The winds will die off a little or drop back a little bit by tomorrow night. And then by midnight tomorrow night, we're almost a due southwest, and we really see them back down on the northern beaches, down south on Hatteras and Ocracoke. It'll still be in the 20s, or up to the 30s, according to the GFS. I'm going to now switch over to the European model, which pretty much pans out right now, where temperatures in the upper 30s at this point right now. And we'll just kind of play this on out. Here's tonight's sunset, still northeast, stays northeast, right on through the overnight hours, then starts shifting down to the east, starting to pick up mid-afternoon to the southeast. And again, you see it. So the Euro and the GFS are pretty much holding in that 30 to 40 mile an hour range out of the winds as we get into tomorrow afternoon. Center of circulation starts to make its way up through interior sections of North Carolina, really right, just paralleling or almost following I-95. Then we really see it by 8 o'clock tomorrow night. We're looking at 30, 40, maybe even 50 sustained, according to the European model. And then as the system gets offshore, gets to our north, between 10 o'clock and midnight, we'll see a dramatic shift to the southwest, and the winds will back down for the most part, although they may intensify on Monday out of the southwest and continue right on into Monday night before they switch to the northwest Monday night. So we're going to circle all the way around the compass with this system over the next 48 hours in our winds, and that's where that sound side flood threat starts down south. Southern Pamlico Sound on tomorrow, then shifts to the sound side as we get into the afternoon for Ocracoke and Hatteras, then shifts onto our beaches the northern end, Kitty Hawk, Killable Hills, Nags Head, Manio, Wanchese, Red Anthiway, Salvo. When the winds get more westerly and blows that water out of the southwest, pushes the water up. We get a west wind that'll push the water over from the Albemarle Sound. Now, how dramatic will be as water level rises? I lost a foot last night. I mean, we went from, we probably dropped a foot out here on the Currituck Sound last night between yesterday at this time and today, the last 24 hours with a pretty decent north wind. So it doesn't take all that long to move this shallow water. So, but we're looking at maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 feet of water level rises at the most in some spots, probably more like a 1 to 2, pretty similar to what we had last week, or almost 2 weeks ago, with the storm that came through to start the year. And on that Monday that we had those water level rises on the sound side, 1 to 2 feet. That's nuisance flooding. Might be a little bit higher in some spots, in the typical low spots. The ocean overwash situation, that's, where the problems are, mainly on Hatteras Island, the Canal Zone, with the blowing sand really there, with the overwash potential. Then you get down to the Pea Island Refuge, Visitor Center, and Merlot Beach, the motels in Buxton, then Sandy Bay and Frisco, and the north end of Ocracoke Island are 5 hot spots. Probably going to see some overwash tomorrow with that southeast wind that we're going to get, northeast and then southeast. High tide tomorrow at Oregon Inlet is going to be around 1 o'clock. No, I'm sorry. I got those backwards. Let's see. 6 o'clock today, 6:30 tonight. 7 Sunday morning, 7:30 Sunday night, around 8 o'clock Monday morning. Those are our next three high tides as the storm is passing over us. So that's when we're probably going to see any potential ocean overwash. Will be with high tide again tomorrow, 7:30 in the morning and evening, and then 8 o'clock on Monday morning, and maybe even with the 8 o'clock Monday night high tide as well. All right, so the OBX Today Weather Center forecast for today looks kind of like this. This is what we're dealing with for today. It's not going to be too bad out there. I'll tell you what, I'm going to make a switch. So there's, I'm going to go down to Avon. There's how things look at Avon. Here's how things look off Hatteras. Starting to get a little busier there. Now, we got a surf alert with the south blow, and then it shifts to the northwest or the northeast and then south. There's a possibility of some pretty rideable surf tomorrow, so don't be surprised to see a bunch of guys heading down and heading out tomorrow. But that's the south-facing beach there at Hatteras Village. Here's how things look at Avon, 2 completely different stories as usual. Here's another camera from Ocracoke that we'll keep an eye on throughout the storm because that'll give us an idea of what we're dealing with. Water's down. It's not too bad. Haven't pulled up the Feynman gauges. You know what? I could do that before we jump onto the before we jump out of here, and we'll be back tonight with another update around 6 o'clock. I'm going to jump over to the Feynman gauges. This is the flood inundation mapping and alert network that North Carolina has now. It gives you an idea of what's going on with the coastal flood situation. And I'm just going to do the gauge right now in Hatteras to kind of give you an idea of what they're thinking there and looking at the predictions. So we're looking at probably 2 feet on the predictions. Right now, it's almost, it's way below normal, down to 0.4. Yeah, that's about right. It's almost below or almost even, flat, not flat. But it's at its zero height, so whatever its normal depth there is in the basin, the ferry basin there at the Coast Guard base. That's where things are there. Same thing, Ocracoke. It's running about normal at 0.6. Really not looking at much of a situation there. Maybe 0.3. So Ocracoke's probably not going to get this. At least the prediction is the title prediction. This gauge will be very interesting to watch. This is Bell Island Pier, which is off the Pamlico River. In Rose Bay. So this is up at the head of Rose Bay, Swan Quarter. This gauge will be very interesting to watch tomorrow. It's running right about its normal height, maybe a little high. The last check, it was at 0.5. That one will be interesting to watch tomorrow, as well as farther up, Bellhaven. Let's see. It's showing, what we got here? Yeah, so it's showing right at its normal 2.4 feet of water. So that's, that'll be another one, the Pungo River, Bellhaven, right there on the Bellhaven downtown waterfront. So anyway, that's Feynman, FIMAN.NC.gov. You can go check this out yourself. It is actually pretty neat to watch the gauges up and down. We did watch those as that flooding situation was going on 2 weeks ago. And it was a pretty dramatic rise and dramatic fall that happened. They have issued a monitor because 117. So Monday morning, 9 a.m., the current forecast is 2.8 feet at the Argon Inlet Marina. So we'll need to monitor, that's what the prediction is when those winds shift more to the southwest tomorrow. All right, so that's fiman.nc.gov. Great way to keep an eye out for the coastal soundside flooding, oceanside as well, but soundside really because there's so many gauges up along the coastal rivers and sounds here in eastern North Carolina. And that will be what we keep our eye on as we go through the day tomorrow, as the flood threat on the sound side anyway is expected to increase. All right, the OBX Today Weather Center forecast for today. We've got mostly cloudy skies with temperatures topping out around 41, north winds 15 to 20, gusts to 25. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low down to 34, northeast winds 15 with gusts to 20. Rain likely on Sunday, then showers, possibly a thunderstorm in the afternoon. Windy, high 54. High wind watch for tomorrow, coastal flood watch as well. Sunday night rain, possibly a thunderstorm, low 39 and windy. Martin Luther King Day, sunny, windy, and 49. And looking ahead, we got another chance of rain Thursday and Friday. I've seen a little bit of mention of snow in some forecasts. Still too early to tell for next weekend. We're going to be doing kind of the same thing as we are this weekend. We'll be back with you tonight to do another Facebook Live and YouTube video for you with an update. Looks like not much is going to change. We're going to stay in the warm sector of this storm. We're going to get rain. We're going to get wind. We're going to get big waves. We're going to get some soundside flooding. Typical winter on the Outer Banks, yes. But still information that everybody wants, and everybody's talking about it. So we're going to talk about it. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. You know how to watch. That's all I can tell you. All right. We'll be back with you tonight here on OBX Today Live Storm Watch. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you later.